Hi, today we are going to discuss 5 to 10 tips in improvement of marks for next internal assessment. If you got more than 70% of the marks in the previous internal, no need to go through this video, you are good enough. If you are an average student, if you want to have some tips on improving marks for next internal assessment, I have few points to discuss so that these may be useful. At least one point out of 10 can be useful for you to discuss, to give you the best performance in the exams. So, as you know, your, your performance in exams is going to depend upon your preparation. To start with the preparation, as I said in the class also, make an overview of the syllabus and topics for all the three subjects, and time yourself to find out how long you take, because that only the person who is studying in his or her own pace can only identify that how much time it will consume for that topic. So make a schedule or timetable on paper, put it on paper and execute the timetable. So we have less than 20 days to or 30 days to go for the exams. So begin with the topics which are difficult for you, so that may be useful in analyzing and giving more time for the difficult topics. Practice flowcharts when you are preparing a question from physiology or anatomy, practice flowcharts or diagrams. Then when it comes to time, you need to create your own way, because if you concentrate on the social media and apps which are more tempting and fun than diving into your studies, so you need to come out of that by either deleting your account or and uninstalling for some time, installing it for some time. So it is, of course, it is a better chance to perform well. Time will never come back again. So to memorize better and to have better performance in the exams, always plan your sleep well. So prioritize your sleep when compared to your mobile phone or OTT platforms. Not only during exams, this can be implemented in general, so that things can be memorized better with the sleep. Then you think that it is an opportunity for you to perform well, rather than don't feel so nervous for exams and so tough for the exam month. You feel that it is an opportunity, so that you're all working for the last 3 to 4 months on the same subjects, so that it is guaranteed that you have learned a lot that will be represented in the exams. Then if you take the tips on the day of exam, so on the day of exam you need to have a solid breakfast to avoid hypoglycemia, and pack your stationery or material properly, and give yourself plenty of time to arrive at the exam hall, so that there will be no last minute hurries. Then at the exam, these are the key points for performance or presentation in the answer screen. Read all the questions first. Spend 1 or 2 minutes to read all the questions carefully, so that you are not going to give a wrong answer by assuming the other way of question. So what they are really asking, what the paper is asking for you. For example, if it is antipituitary, you have to write antipituitary. If it is gastric juice, you have to write gastric juice, not the pancreatic juice. So when the question is clear, then plan the answer in such a way that what are the definitions, normal values involved, or then the main paragraphs, diagrams, and applied aspect. You plan everything in such a way, then start the answering the on answer sheet. Then start with one you know better. Here it is one you know better. Okay. So if it is the final exam, it is designated page is there for interior exams. If it is internal assessment, you start with your question number on the left hand side of the margin, as well as on the middle of the page on the top of the answer. And always plan an appropriate diagram or flowchart, and essentially is use colors. Then other points is, then plan your answer according to the structure of the section. For example, define blood pressure is 2 marks or 3 marks. You have to mention the normal values definition, then normal values 2 marks, then explain in detail about renal regulation or the neural regulation. You have to plan accordingly and add a note on secondary hypertension and hypertension. Then you have to plan accordingly. Then emphasize the key points by underlining them or highlighting with boxes, or keywords must be emphasized. So at the end, even though it was not asked, you have to write 2 sentences on applied aspect. That will give you the best impression to give you the better mark. In the last 5 minutes, you feel that all your presentation is over on the paper, you cross check the question numbers and total questions attempted. Then if most of the times we remember things better in the second time around, so that we can add 1 or 2 points if we have the 5 minutes at the end of the exam. Cross check your roll number and signature accordingly if it is internal or final exam. Then, if you, to conclude this session, exam always starts in the classroom. For example, today some class was taken on the pyramidal tract. That means if you can focus and pay attention to today's class, it will carry something to the final preparation and paper. So that concentrate on each topic in the classroom, do relevant exercises, take the tutorial classes from next month or whenever it is given to you, clarify your doubts. After all, the exam is designed to test whether you have learned the stuff that is required to be or supposed to be learned at the end of the semester. Then, if you are really interested to improve upon the first internal assessment, you go through the first internal assessment of your paper, then compare with the best answer in the class. That means you go through your answer script, question by question, observe your presentation in terms of flowcharts and colors, in terms of content, in terms of proper units whenever it is required, method of presentation. Then top 2 scripts in the class you can go through. You can ask the department, request the department to give you the top 2 scripts in the class, so that compare your script with the top 2 scripts. That will give you a better ideology. No need to analyze that much. That will give a gross ideology where you are lacking up. Then you can consult your mentor. As you believe that you can do it. Once you believe that you can do it, it is all possible. Okay, all the best for the second internal assessment.